You are watching Slime Recap.
Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome back to Slime Recaps. Now, with a new voice. Let's get started. Snakey quickly starts moving away, realizing that once Manager Lee arrives, his identity will be exposed, and huge trouble will break out at the casino. He knows that since he already has the storage jade and tens of thousands of spirit stones in his pocket, it's time for him to leave. On top of that, Snakey is also happy that his main objective of exposing the casino scams has finally been achieved, making this the perfect time to get out. On the other hand, Martin takes out the Thunder Tribulation Pearl and states that he is tired as well, so he will stop now. He quickly orders Liu Ruan to give him 30,000 spirit stones as compensation, after which he will leave the Heavenly Dragon Casino for good. At this, Liu Ruan asks if he is really leaving. Martin turns towards her and asks if she does not want him to leave, which immediately leaves her nervous and confused. She quickly denies it, saying that she cannot possibly stop Martin from getting proper rest if he is tired. She promptly gives him 30,000 spirit stone and asks him to accept them and honorably leave the casino. Martin catches the stones and turns around before saying one final thing. He reveals that the next time he visits Chuang City, he expects the casino to invite him to play in the Heavenly Dragon Casino again. Li Ruan becomes frightened but hides her expression behind a smile, assuring him that the Heaven Dragon Casino will gladly welcome Martin again if he visits Chuang City in the future. Deep inside, she thinks of Martin as a complete lunatic, as she sighs in relief, realizing that he finally left the casino after exposing all of their scams. As Martin leaves, he suddenly realizes that something feels off. After traveling some distance, he notices that he is being followed. He quickly glances back and sees Baikui Shin following him. He asks Bai about the reason for following him, to which Bai replies that he has some business with him. At first, Baikui Shin feels overwhelmed by Martin and even struggles to choose the proper way to address him. He becomes confused between calling him Martin or Senior, and eventually settles on calling him Senior. While hesitating to explain why he was following him, Martin quickly steps close to Baikui Shin and angrily tells him to spit out the reason, warning that he will take his life if he does not tell the truth. Seeing this, Baikui Shin becomes shocked, realizing that Martin's speed and oppressive aura are real, and that his aggressiveness is not an act. He finally asks Martin the question that has been on his mind, wondering whether he would truly have detonated the Lightning Tribulation Pearl if Li Ruan had continued to make things difficult. Martin immediately agrees, saying that he would not have hesitated to do it. At this, Baikuishi becomes stunned and states that Martin should be at the perfect foundation establishment stage. He further adds that there is no need to hide it, explaining that even though he belongs to the Bai family, which has no connection to the Heavenly Puppet Sect, it does not mean that he is unfamiliar with them. He says that he has been interacting with the Heavenly Puppet Sect since he was very young. He reveals that a normal foundation establishment cultivator could never possess such proficient puppet techniques. At this, Martin becomes angry and asks if Baikuishi is trying to probe into his background. Hearing this, Baikuishi becomes frightened, while Martin maintains his dominance and asks who sent him, questioning whether it was the Heavenly Puppet Sect or the Heavenly Dragon Casino. Martin quickly grabs Baikuishi by the throat, hoping to force an honest answer out of him. Baikuishi denies the accusation, saying that he came on his own and harbors no ill intent. He immediately raises a peace sign with his hand and explains that although he came to the casino today only to broaden his horizons and gain experience, he never expected to witness something like this. He further praises Martin, saying he has learned quite a lot from him, expressing his gratitude. On the other hand, Snakey realizes that Baikushi did not use any true key to protect himself, nor did he attempt any tricks or schemes. He wonders whether Baikushi is simply fearless in the face of death or just seemed incredibly simple-minded. Martin then releases Baikushi's throat and starts stepping back, ordering him to stop following him. At this, Baikushi smiles slightly and comments that although he is also at the perfect foundation establishment stage, he has never dared to intimidate a core formation expert with methods like Martin's. As Martin leaves, Bakuishi silently thinks if he has ever encountered a similar situation in the future, he needs to change his way of thinking, realizing that he has learned a great deal from Martin today. Meanwhile, Manager Lee arrives at the casino and sits before Li Ruan, saying that he has already spoken with Elder Dring of the Heavenly Puppet Sect, who confirmed that only two disciples have recently been in Chuan City. Hearing this, Li Ruan realizes that since the person was not from Heavenly Puppet Sect, it must have been someone else entirely. Master Li admits that he has no idea who it could be, to which Li Ruan replies that there is no point in guessing, knowing that they have no proof of the cultivator's true identity. At that moment, Elder Ding's puppet, Da Guang, arrives at the scene, saying that it could be anyone from outside world and assuring Li Ruan that such a person was not from the Heavenly Puppet Sect. Seeing the puppet, Li Ruan greets Elder Ding and asks if it truly was someone from the Heavenly Puppet Sect. Da Huang denies it, saying that he has already sniffed out thoroughly around and that there is absolutely no scent of any Heavenly Puppet Sect disciple nearby. Hearing this, Li Ruan becomes furious, to which Da Huang comments that she simply got played by some random outsider. Li Ruan angrily turns towards Manager Li and orders him to notify all Gates, declaring that she will make sure the person who exposed the Heavenly Dragon Casino cannot escape even if they had wings. Manager Lee quickly agrees and assures her that he will set up the 10,000 male soul chasing array immediately. He promptly leaves and activates the array, leaving Snakey with no chance of escaping the city without being noticed by the casino and Elder Ding. After Manager Lee leaves, Li Ruan brings up the lightning tribulation pearl, saying that the person possessed one and hoping that at least Elder Ding can fight the cultivator head on once they find him. Elder Ding calmly assures Li Ruan not to worry, saying that the lightning tribulation pearl is only a minor issue and that when the time comes, he will naturally provide her with a magic treasure capable of dealing with it. At this, Li Ruan expresses her gratitude towards the Elder Ding, while Da Hyung replies that there is no need for her to be so formal, saying that this matter concerns all of them together. On the other hand, Snakey attempts to leave the city, only to realize that the entire city is now covered by an array. Seeing this, Snakey becomes shocked and tense, realizing that the entire city is covered by divine sense and that he cannot escape now. He calculates the magnitude of tracking membrane, realizing that it is far stronger than the one used by the Purple Cloud Sect, and whether Li Ruan managed to create this on her own or received help from someone even stronger than her. He realizes that she knows he possesses the lightning tribulation pearl and still dares to make such a move, making him conclude that either she is extremely confident or she received assistance after Martin left the casino. He soon decides that instead of forcing his way through and turning himself into a living target, it would be better to return to the city first and wait for a few days. He knows that maintaining this kind of divine sense tracking array consumes an enormous amount of energy and cannot possibly be sustained forever. He quickly returns near his puppet and realizes that Martin should not show his face for the next few days. So he decides to switch to another puppet and find an inn. He comes up with a plan to scatter the other puppets and check into different inns, changing locations every few hours. He knows that even if danger appears, aside from the fish dragon microsteps, he can also rely on shapeshifting transposition to escape. After changing puppets, he finally feels relieved enough to breathe easier and decides to wait until the divine sense membrane eventually breaks apart. Soon after, he remembers the storage jade and realizes that since he has plenty of free time until the divine sense membrane disappears, he can finally inspect what's inside of it. He quickly opens the storage jade and discovers dragon blood wine and earth core free mushroom within it. He also notices many rare spirit herbs that have long gone extinct, some of them being top grade tier 3 herbs, while a couple are even tier 4. He becomes shocked, realizing that if he brings back these herbs to Milky, she can definitely make good use of them and would be extremely happy. At that moment, all items inside the storage jade suddenly began disappearing, leaving Snakey stunned. After everything disappears, he realizes that even the medicinal herbs inside the storage jade have vanished, and activating the jade with spirit power must have caused it. He wonders if the jade had been sealed for too long, considering that the only things left behind are an alchemy furnace and a token. He carefully examines the furnace, realizing that although it still possesses a metallic luster, its spiritual essence has been completely exhausted, making him fear that it can no longer be used for alchemy. Still, he realizes that since the furnace managed to survive tens of thousands of years without being destroyed, the material used to forge it must have been extraordinary. He turns his attention towards the token and notices that it still contains a faint trace of spiritual charm. He also notices the pattern engraved on it, realizing that it is identical to the mechanical key from before, making him wonder whether the token is also connected to the ancient ruin. Suddenly, a bright light bursts from the token, blinding Snakey for a few seconds. When he opens his eyes again, he sees a man standing before him, declaring that he is the successor of Gong Shu and explaining that when disaster strikes his master, he sealed himself with the Yin Corp spell. The man then asks Snakey to obtain his inheritance from the divine puppet Snake. Hearing this, Snakey becomes shocked, wondering whether this person is truly Gongshu's successor and if he really gathered all those spirit herbs to save his master. Snakey realizes, according to his words, a disaster occurred and he had no choice but to use the Yin Scott spell to seal himself away. Still, the last part leaves Snakey confused, making him wonder what exactly the Divine Puppet Sect is, and whether it has any connection to the Heavenly Puppet Sect. And that's all for today, folks. Like, share, subscribe, and tune back in to Slime Recaps for the next video. Bye bye!